First joint of the day. Not. Couldn't even say that if it was the first joint of the day. Did we go live in Hill? Really? In the world? Well, welcome to the liveness of it all then. It was all rehearsal up till now. Welcome to Show I'm Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence. And we are and will continue to be throughout the show. So we'll not, do not be mistaken. We're under the influence. Joining me here off to the edge of the camera is Rose. Even further off the edge. She is so far off the edge. And Mr. Cookie coming in all the way from Ontario.
Hey everybody, raining and windy and tornado warnings all in effect through the Muskokas and all that region. So buckle down, everyone. Yeah.
Tornadoes in the Muskokas.
Yeah, bad thunderstorm, multi-mile-an-hour winds.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The wrath of God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Keeps the bugs down a bit. So you got a fire going? No, not today. Fire is growing on top of the fire. I can see them. A little host of clones behind it all. So yeah, the world continues to be on fire. Excuse me, I'll get some fire. And the theme of today's show, oddly enough, is fuck the police. Which, you know, just between you and me, it's always been the theme of the show. Yes, the world is rising up against the tyranny of the police in our society, and their targeting of black and brown skinned and anybody they don't like. But the world's had enough, it would seem, across the board. A lot of it is, you know, the angst of the people who've been most affected here are fucking had enough. So, tremendous amount is going on in the world right now about those matters, and I'm glad that people are discussing alternatives to the way of life that has led to these moments. And some reasonably good suggestions, and a ton of suggestions, as always. What do we do? What? Status quo is a hard thing to change for a lot of people. So, but change is needed as far as I can tell. And I've always felt that the police have become out of control in our world and are beyond control, refuse to be controlled, will have nothing to do with whatever the public has ever asked of them, ever. They've become this rogue army all over the fucking world, sucking up as much taxpayer money as they can get their little greedy hoofs on. And have been doing it for a very long time. So that's got to end as far as I can tell. Defund the police is the cry of the land. And of course, in this day and age, everybody's arguing over what that means, what it should mean. Oh, it should be this, should be that. Oh, we should do. So much confusion around that concept already. of course, you're not going to get rid of the police. You need them for a few things. But I don't know. It's just fucking opinion. I have no clue what should be done. What I'd like to see done is different. But defund, I don't know even what that means. They should be scaled back tremendously here. They should first be fucking completely and totally investigated to find out what they've been doing. You want money, you want all this money, then let's see what you're doing. So that'd be a good place to start, right? Let's take a look at what the cops have been up to all these years. What they've done with all the billions and billions of dollars that we've given them, that they've actually demanded. And hold them accountable for what they've been up to. And then from that, you could easily figure out a way to restructure it so that shit don't ever happen again. Ever, ever, ever. Police are notorious for all over the world for being corrupt as you possibly can get. Because they're right in the midst of the stuff that corrupts them. Well, there's Mr. Cookie back.
That was crazy. Everything was blowing around out there. Pots and oh.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's like my planter's rolling around. And I was like, it is.
So I don't know. If you take a critical look at the police, which I have my whole fucking life, yeah, you gotta ask yourself, well, what do they actually do? Like, what do they physically do out there in our world here, other than show up after a crime has been committed and follow it from there? Anytime that they show up in the midst of a crime, holy fuck, society at large is now endangered by them. They'll chase a guy in a car throughout anywhere. Chase a guy in a car. We're like, what the fuck for? Not using any police technology or a little forethought whatsoever that this might be a dangerous thing to do, to get this guy to go at a high speed and then you too go at a high speed and then get a whole bunch more guys involved in the high speed. What the fuck ever happened to radios?
Here's the thing, he's gonna have to pull over something.
Yeah, like you could easily follow anybody in a car until
Hey,
he's
radio ahead. Hey, buddy. Oh, look for this whatever guy driving down this road.
But don't chase him. Fucking let him go. Like, well, what's he gonna do? Except drive more safely through my city and towns and highways and keep an eye on the guy till he stops. Then you and me could fucking take him out, you'd think.
Exactly.
Like, all I need is a net, really. I just need a net. You and me sneak up on him with a net and go there. You got him.
Scooby-Doo styles, you know, like that's all there is to it. He'll say, you meddling kids, and we'll have him with the police.
Skedaddle. But what do the cops do? They come out with all their gear that they've over purchased that they don't need. We don't need that in that scenario. We don't need 1,000 fucking cop cars. All right, they just escalate things with all their shields and their bullets and their guns and their fucking army style stuff, tear gas and fucking blah, blah, blah. Well, why do they even have this shit? To use against the people who are pissed off that you're using that against them? Don't they fucking get it? And there doesn't seem to be a lot of rhetoric around about, well, using all this violence against people who are protesting that we're using too much violence. Like, how that's not helping your cause, coppers. No, I've never liked the police. Certainly since I've become involved in the cannabis world. Never once have I liked the police because they show up and fucking lie to you and deceive you and arrest you over cannabis, right, in full force. Right? Are you kidding me? I can't tell you how many times that they put the cuffs on me and the cop goes, "Oh, sorry, man. You know, I'm just doing my job." Which I did not take kindly to. I said, "Fuck you, pig. Shouldn't be doing this job if you're somehow ashamed of what you have to do. And fucking don't talk to me anymore." I could never hold my tongue while they were doing this to me.
It's hard, yeah, because they're such assholes that it's like,
When we got arrested by the DEA, they made me sit at the seed desk for a very long time, handcuffed, and they put a video camera in front of me. So I did a show. I took full advantage. I'd love to see that video. Oh my God. Nothing came of it. No, it wasn't mentioned anything that I said on the video. But so, you know, I don't like the way the police have been in my world, in our world, for the very longest time, my whole life. Like it's been going on long before I was born. The RCMP were formed in this country to eradicate the fucking natives. Pretty much. Go clear out all the fucking Indians in the West. Right? And that's what they did. In fact, did it so much, there came a point where people said, "Well, okay, thanks. You know, we don't need you anymore." And they went, yes, you do.
yes, you do, eh? Those fuckers.
And they dove into the fucking drug war. They've been the reason why there has been a drug war. They are the reason, the police. Because it was worth billions and billions and billions of dollars to them. All this time getting handed money to fight drugs. They used that opportunity to fight the drugs to be as racist as they fucking could throughout all of it. Gonna defund the drug war. Instantly. Like, that's the fucking root of the whole problem. Well, not the whole problem. But no, a lot has to change here, and I like the sentiment of some public officials that have come forward with these kind of ideas. I don't know, Washington, they're painting it in big fucking yellow letters on their streets.
Leading right up to
Leading right up to the White House, which is bunkered down.
Oh yeah, he's all in lockdown, eh? He's in his own quarantine.
Yeah, they got a fucking grade 4 student running the show for them, for fuck's sakes. What a pinhead this Trump is. Like, I don't bother speaking about him too much because it's just too fucking insane. But this whole business about him having to be taken to the bunker during the protests, and then him backpedaling, saying, no, it's just he went just to inspect the bunker. But and then another guy came up who debunked that, said no, they were fucking taking their security, the whole shebang, right? And and then Trump replied that you know, it wasn't the first time that he'd been to the bunker. He'd been there 2.5 other times. That's what he said. 2.5 other times. Like, you go, wow, you are in fucking grade 4, kid. Just a raving fucking lunatic.
And he's running the show from up there, like, Jesus.
Yeah, but I tell you, he's making it awfully transparent how the show is run in their world. And this is part of the reason that people are so frustrated and lashing back so much, is that they're beginning to see how this fucking all works. And you can see it for sure under these kind of circumstances, how the narrative is the important thing. Depends what the narrative is. What are they, how is this being presented? And everybody has a different way of presenting the whole fucking thing. Is it this? Is it that? Is it what? Is it right?
True, yeah. It's
Confusion over even what you should and could say. What can you say? I don't even know how to respond now. What can I say? Like they just throw this fucking confusion at the world so fast. And there's so many intricate players, it ain't clear what's going on. Right? You go, holy fuck. So it is just mass confusion. So, but I hope the defunding of the police continues. And they need less money, they need less power, they need a better direction here. Right? We need them to actually solve crime and prevent crime, I suppose. Whatever that is, we might re-examine what we're considering crime to be. But
and they could start sweeping the streets up, and well, they're not doing anything.
well, here in Vancouver, the city council voted to, they voted to go ask the BPD if they would reduce their budget by 1%. And the BPD said, fuck you. No, they said, not gonna happen. And of course, the guy in charge of the response or that aspect of it, he says it's not in the interest of public safety to reduce us by 1%. Right, especially in these pandemic times. Like
COVID law on people, eh?
Oh, slimy motherfucker. Like 1% is going to change the completely safe life that I feel I live? Where's all the fucking crime?
You'd be safer with that 1%, though. 1% safer.
Public safety is fucking out of question now because we've had to reduce our budget by, well, I don't know. The city claimed that represented $3.2 million. The cops say it actually represents 8.4. I don't know how that works. But even if it is 8.4, fuck you. You got a budget of over $300 million. More than 25% of this total city budget is given to the police. Oh my fucking God. To do what? Drive around in your fucking cars? Waiting for a citizen to call in a crime? And watching people pass heroin to one another as you drive down the street and do nothing about it. I'm not suggesting they should, but it's, an obvious crime going on that they see. They don't do anything about it.
Yeah, but they'll bust the guy selling nickel bags on the same corner. You're like, what?
So they don't do much. They don't prevent people getting into arguments in parking lots with a gun or a knife. They can't prevent that. They only show up and draw a chalk line around the fucking guy's body at the end of it. And then apparently you're supposed to go hunt down the perpetrator. Right? Well, that's what the violent crime should be addressed here. From the top down. It should be that priority by the police, but it's not. Never has been. Their priority is driving around in their fucking cars doing nothing. And then insidious things to citizens late at night because they can. And our world is steeped in it. You know, as I'm fucking at home here more and watching the Netflixery, it's all fucking cops. Every fucking movie. He's an ex-cop, an acting cop, an ex-DEA, a retired CIA, a guy trying to get away from the fucking force. And it's just, they're all cops. Every fucking story. Except for Marvel. But they're super. For the rest of every action movie out there is about a fucking, some sort of cop. And it's all presented the same way. Bad cops get fucking smashed in these movies. They don't in real life. Right?
They get, suspended with pay and different things like that.
Well, they never get caught.
No.
They just never get caught. So this ain't like the fucking movies here where justice somehow is served over 2 hours that you know the bad cop is going to get it. And there's a good cop getting him, protecting you and me from the bad cop. Right? In every fucking scenario here. Or some madman who's going to take over the world. Right? So we've been steeped in it our whole fucking lives. It's always been like that. Every cop show. And they're by far cop shows and movies outstrip any other fucking subject matter. Every by millions of miles. My whole life there's been cop shows everywhere all over TV. Then in the movies and constantly it's this made up fucking thing, but it's the cops selling themselves. It's a program here. Same with cops going in the schools. What?
Yeah, the undercover cops and shit. It's like, what?
Totally accepted in our world that police go into the fucking schools, frighten children with potential adult harms that await them, and then introduce them all to the drugs that they're now wanting to find out about.
Identifying the drugs with a case and an actual sample almost. You're like, oh, that is LSD 25. Wow.
Who the fuck does that? You sick fucks. Going into a school and introducing our children to adult things that they shouldn't even know about. Like, why would you do that? They don't do it with anything else.
If you came into the kitchen and that was going on at your house, you may be told to go into the other room. This is adult stuff.
Well, yeah. It's as simple as that. But no, why? So we need to be asking questions about why the fuck are you doing this? What's in it for you? Something is in it for the police to do this. It's called money. Right? They put themselves forefront in the war on drugs, teaching prohibition to children, misinforming them about the way things are so that they can show the world that they are needed to do this. Right?
So like we need to uphold the law.
And isn't it interesting and quite coincidental that they get a tremendous amount of funding to continue this war on drugs? And that's the subject that they go into the schools and talk to the kids about. What? They don't talk to them about any other adult horror that awaits the child. And you can conjure up your own scenarios as to what they could be going in there and talking to them about. But they don't, because they don't receive any funding for those things. How come they don't go into the school and tell them all about murder? Right?
Show them pictures of murder.
Yeah, show them
Here's a
pictures
knife.
of murder and all the weapons that could be used. People would
use
go
it.
berserk if they did that. They receive funding to fucking thwart the world of murder. Why aren't we warning our kids not to murder when you get older?
Here's a bloody knife. Don't use that.
It's fucking insane and so evident as to how they operate. The police in Canada and every other place too, I'm sure, but I only know a little bit about here. They have taken this tremendous amount of money that they've been given. And I'll point out that in 2002, when the Canadian Senate was doing its investigation on the impact of cannabis in Canada, requested the RCMP to let them know how much money they've received and what they've done with it. And the RCMP said, go fuck yourself. No shit. They refused to give up any information about it. That was it. That was all. Right. So but a lot of what I see they have done throughout time here they have expanded this drug prohibition into every corner of every community and school in our fucking land. They're the ones that have created all the fucking little offshoots, little groups against drugs, parents against drugs, somebody against drugs, right? They overwhelmingly are involved in the Canadian Center on Substance Abuse and always have been. It's all a bunch of cops, cop affiliates. Legalization of cannabis was all cops, cop affiliates.
Making sure they all get their slice of pie or whatever. Here's how you should do it. So
Yeah, they said you're not going to legalize cannabis without keeping us in the fucking flow of money. We have to continue taking this much money. And that's why it went the way it went. It was made up by Bill Blair, and he had a couple cronies on the task force. And their conclusion, which was adopted, was to increase enforcement and give cops more money, which they did instantly. What the fuck?
so like more money? Check.
Yeah, they worked very hard and they work extremely hard using the billions that the taxpayers give them to figure out how to get more cops. Because more cops is more money. And
Sure.
the police union, which just about all the cops belong to one big giant fucking union, they want their cut too. More cops, more dues, more money, more millions and millions that they're raking in. That's how it goes. They don't really give a fuck about your safety. They care about their own safety. Now, even more.
Their financial safety.
Yeah. So, it's like fucking transit cops, a whole other division of police created to enforce a $2.75 fucking fare. At whose request? Who asked for that? Nobody. But yet, got a whole fucking bunch of cops walking around on the sky trains and buses with fucking guns. For $2.50? That's what I said to the one cop. I said, really? Like, you're fucking armed all up here in a fucking bus for this kid who happened to be an ESL student? Didn't have the right fucking student ticket, had a ticket, but not the right one. And he's grinding her about it. I'm going, dude, this is like for 50 fucking cents you're doing this.
You're not even, whatever the difference is.
Well, we have to do it a lot, he said. I said, well, yeah, I should think so to pay your fucking salary to do it. God, it was insane. I say I'm getting off because I'm afraid that your weapon might go off by accident. Don't like people on bus with guns. Thanks.
Harm someone, yeah. I unintentionally.
So I don't know. What do we? Of course, the idea of there's a few bad apples.
Well, if
That
there's one bad apple and it's touching another apple, it's going to spoil that apple. So
ruins all the apples, is the rest of the saying. Right? They don't ever go on with the rest of the saying. One bad apple spoils the whole bunch, baby. So, no, they're all crooked, or they're complacent, looking the other way. That's why I have no respect for the police. Fuck them, fuck the police.
yeah, I read a good meme today that says we didn't write a song called "Fuck the Fire Department" or "Fuck the Firemen."
I saw something like that too. Ain't that the truth? So yeah, it's time to really examine the police now that is all structured, and I think we would see an alleviation of a lot of social ills that are actually caused by them. Right? A lot of the mayhem and violence going on out there is caused by them. So much like it'd be if we let fucking lions roam around in the street. But we don't do that because what? Ooh, could be a lot of fucking mayhem and now politicians, I don't know, my whole life have never stood up to the police. The police have fucking hammered over whatever they want. Anytime, every time, no talk about it, no investigations on nothing. My whole fucking life, you go, well, wait a second, that must mean that like thousands of politicians that are around here are not, what? They must be afraid of something. There hasn't been one politician who's ever stood up against it, ever. You go, wow, that's interesting, the silence. And it's obvious to me, certainly, that it's unjust and unneeded and fucking crooked. But
well, I've known it ever since I was a young lad. There was this cop in a southern town. What was his name? Boss Hog. And he ran that town.
yeah, chasing down moonshiners.
Yeah.
Well, and they've always been like that. The boss hogs from everywhere. It's all because the police are untouchable, unquestioned. Even if you ask them, they say, fuck you. I'm going to tell you. Keep moving. So the
That's
politicians must be afraid of them. What is the fear that they have? Why is there a fear to begin with? Is there a fear? Or is it just a given that if you go against the police, you're going to get fucked up? Because
probably
I've
not.
never seen a politician get fucked up, ever. Not once in my whole life has there ever been a story come forward that a politician somehow felt that he was being harassed by the police because of his position against them. Ever. So there's no evidence that they're going to, what are the police going to stop you if you roll through a stop sign? Right, if you're 2K over the limit, are they going to, right? Is this what the politician must expect? What are they afraid of to speak up against? Because they never have. So it must be, it's deep. It's dark fucking web shit.
Like when you get elected and they give you the little book or whatever. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
all this shit. They're like, yeah, the cops, #1, you guys, #3, someone in between. We won't tell you who's in between, don't ask.
Well, there was an election for here, federal election some years ago, what, Harper was around then, and fucking Jack Layton actually was the NDP candidate, I think the last time he ran, and the Quebecois Bloc Party, fucking. So anyway, they had the full slate of people. Now, prior to the election, Stephen Harper, the prime minister then, offered out of the fucking blue to give the cops millions of dollars to create 2,500 positions. This was the number of cops they needed, extra 2,500. So millions of dollars. So then the election was called, and everybody who was running for prime minister received a letter from the police union saying, you know, I want to thank Steve for fucking offering us all this money and the ability to hire 2,500 more cops, but he didn't say this is like forever. They'll give us that much money each year, forever. Because we can't offer the 2,500 jobs unless we can say to them it's forever. Lifetime career. So it was shortly thereafterwards in the campaign, out of the mouths of every single fucking one of them came the idea that Canada needed 2,500 more police officers. Even Jack Layton, they all just started saying it, right? So they don't care who's running the show, obviously, and that's troubling.
Like it doesn't matter who's running the show. We got it taken care of somehow.
Yeah, this group of civil servants don't care who's prime minister. They seem to be above the law, if you will. So, I don't know. It's time for some real thought. But if the politicians are afraid to do anything, we'll see what happens in fucking Minneapolis or wherever they completely defunded Washington or something. I don't know, 150 million. God knows what their budgets are there. Here, the budget for the Vancouver police is $300 million, folks.
Oh,
A third of $1 billion every year to do what? I don't hear them involved in much. Do you? I don't hear them involved in much.
And that's it.
They don't there's not much to do. There isn't that much crime, really. Again, it depends on what you label crime. Biggest percentage of the crime that they've been fighting out there all these years has been drugs. That's pretty much it. How do you fight homicide?
You're out there.
How do you fight rape from their position? How do you protect us from that? They don't. They can't. None of it. Other agencies can help, but not them. So, in reality, what the fuck do we need them all for? They're not doing anything, and they're not really qualified to deal with what they're throwing themselves into. They'd rather deal with it from the end of a smoking fucking gun.
No, it's true.
Well, what the fuck? There was a scenario when I lived out in Deep Cove. I don't know, guy in an SUV up on Mount Seymour Parkway didn't fucking some infraction of the fucking traffic code, and they throw on the sirens, but he doesn't pull over. So they all start going faster. And then they come down off Mount Seymour onto Deep Cove Road, turning left. And for some reason, the guy in the SUV pulled over, got out, And he shot him dead. You go like, what the fuck? This is in our neighborhood where we live, which is pretty fucking quiet place, I gotta say,
Hey,
compared
you
to
haven't heard those gunshots forever.
So thanks a lot to the police for fucking causing this mayhem to go on. And the guy wasn't armed or anything. He just made the wrong moves at the wrong time in front of a cop. They shoot him dead from a long way away. You go, well, wait a second. Why couldn't you have a guy with fucking binoculars watching the guy?
Double check.
Really close. Couldn't one of you have binoculars instead of just an automatic weapon? See, that's where you and I could fucking handle this.
We'd be like, you better have a look at this from afar.
Yeah.
Oh,
See
he
what
doesn't have a gun or anything. He seems just whatever.
He's
Maybe
going for his
let's
phone,
go check it out.
pulling his phone out, whatever. But bang, dead. Didn't hit him in the leg either. Couldn't do that. They never do that. Not like, right? Because they're not trained to. You see, the target practice is the fucking. There's no legs on the target.
Yeah, just a torso
It's just a torso.
and a head, maybe. I think.
Shoot him dead, which is tragic in so many cases because the guy wasn't doing nothing. The traffic violation.
Leg.
I don't want you chasing people around for traffic violations. Fuck off. I don't care enough about that. We all break traffic violations, for fuck's sakes. Each and every one of us all day long.
Every day.
Every day. We don't care. We go a little faster than the speed limit. We don't fucking. Right? People don't signal when they change lanes. They don't stop at a stop sign. They fucking. Right? Do a U-E or wherever they are.
Even
They're all day long. But yet, this cop, for some reason, is going to chase a guy through society in his vehicle now because of it. No, stop doing that. And they probably don't do it as much as one would think because it happens in every one of the movies. Right? Police go on a big car chase and get all smashed up.
Every time.
Yeah, budget. Think budget for the cops each time. We need these 100 cop cars chasing the Blues Brothers because it wouldn't be as funny.
We're going to lose a bunch of them along the way, so we need to replenish the car, the driving of the cops around.
So I do hope that we have a re-examination of our lives as a result of all this stuff at the end of the day, how we treat one another and what we think about stuff. The fuck. Don't know how people can't fucking get over the color of somebody's fucking skin. They really made such a fucking big deal of this. It's not really that. It's the people who are involved in it, how they wish to treat them, for fuck's sakes. The slavery and the genocide that's gone on this fucking continent is just stunning. And you wonder why people are fucking a little angry. I don't care if it's targeted at Target or fucking Bloomingdale's or they want to smash whatever they fucking smash. I don't know. It's the frustration of people. Come on. And the opportunity, of course, to smash and loot in the midst of it. Sure see a lot of white guys smashing and looting.
Yeah, smashing and looting everything, you know, all the white guys.
Yeah. So it gets all complicated out there in the fucking melee, doesn't it? It's really complicated about who's doing what. Why is anybody doing what they're doing? How did it get? You don't know, right? You don't know. It's just fucking going on. Who are those guys with the guns? Everybody's got guns. So dangerous in the States, that's for sure. Not so much here, but it all gets confused. What's been done and is being done to the indigenous population of this country is fucking frightening. Absolutely heart-rendering, frightening stuff that you can't even believe humans could do to one another. And it's summarily dismissed and kind of never, it's just fucking horrible. Taking everything from these people. Kill them by the fucking thousands. Enslave them. Put them on reservations. Took their kids away from them. Took them, put them in fucking schools to indoctrinate them into the word of God. Or kill them. They didn't submit to that. Right? And have made them into some of the poorest population in our land. And continue to do that. And still wanting more and more and more from them. Frightening. You wonder why people are angry.
Yeah, like, oh, they're angry. Well, of course, you're not lifting them up. You're always putting them down and putting them in bad positions. Like, and then, or even like asking for help when they're in a good position. It's like, holy crap, man. Like,
So we've got to acknowledge that this is going on. And if we acknowledge that this is going on, we can actually kind of see the people who are making it go on. I do see all over the internet people who are putting their opinions out there in the world that are fucking racist are being taken to task. A lot of them losing their jobs, being disassociated with. Fucking people are going, no, we've got enough. You want to be like that? We don't want nothing to do with you. It's time to defund the KKK. How about that? Right?
probably has a lot to do with the police department.
Yeah. Doesn't it? Prime candidates. So, yeah, I see all over the place too. They're yanking statues down of the slave fucking drivers and the ugly bastards of the past. See that? That's good. No, time to change this fucking point of view. Like, really? I don't know. It's so complicated. There's enough. There's enough stuff for everybody. If you just stop trying to get it all yourself. Why does it have to be that way? Why does somebody have to have it all? As much as they can get.
So like it's 100 or none.
How much do you need? The guy from Amazon, how much fucking money can you possibly need? Don't you have a calculator going, this is going to last me my whole life. I don't need this much more than this now. Like, could you? How could you? Far be it for me to impose some limit on how much money somebody can actually make, but come on, don't you see? In front of him are so many who have nothing. How could you? I don't know. How do you fucking live? I don't get it. It's rich cats need more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And do fucking, because you're connected and you're rich, you get more connected, and you can get people do anything now. And they do that.
Yeah, they shouldn't even need extra money if they're getting everyone to do them favors, and they should just be good after a while. Be like, oh, solid.
Yeah. Because you're so rich, you hang around with rich guys. And between you, oh my God, you can do fucking near anything you want. And you do. if you and I got together, we could even make more money. And they get their little schemes and they off they go. No, it's fucked up.
That's
Oh,
what was happening with the legal market in Canada before it happened in behind closed doors with some of these guys.
Oh yeah, there's I don't know. Maybe someday that'll get investigated, but it'll get too far away to fucking do anything about it.
I think it'll be too short lived. They're just like, yeah, that was just a thing that happened for a few years and now it's whatever it is again.
It's a scam, is what it was. But they run willingly to it. I don't quite understand how stupid fucking people are when it comes to the stock market and how that actually works. But some will make money, but it's still fucking blood money as far as I can tell. Because any penny that you might make off the stock market is coming from another guy sitting in a garage somewhere going, I lost. Oh my
I lost my money. You're like, oh, there it is.
right? Huh. So an interesting way to raise money, right? Is to have people put their money at risk. So you can have it. And some will not make any money because if they all made money, you wouldn't get any.
Like, yeah,
That's how it works.
Don't want to share it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wish they never allowed that to happen to the legal market. I think it would have been way better for us consumers if they pretended that this was just going to be real business and not this fantasy business that they made up to sucker people into giving them their money. It's kind of what it comes down to. Like they just made up what they had to offer. It wasn't like a gold mine that had struck fucking gold. It was all speculation. The whole scenario still is. As I read it today, all the fucking talking about stock market and cannabis in Canada, it's just fucking all made up. None of them are doing anything.
Yeah, it's just based on something. It's like,
This is made up more numbers to get people to continue to buy stocks. Come on.
so like, well, if we had
Yeah.
better numbers, we'd have better stocks. They're like, 1 second. We have better numbers now, so let's raise these stocks up now.
Yeah, our potential has increased because we sold off all of our greenhouse. Their potential is completely decreased. They haven't been able to come up with the sales that they projected and will not acknowledge why that is. And they still would like you to invest. Why do they even still exist in the world if this is the way they want to operate? And they're all the same. I want better weed. I want better weed than I can get. Come on, bring it. You chicken shits. Or start fighting against the rules that you say are inhibiting you from being able to do that. Bring it. Come on. Don't fucking tell me. You want to sell burgers? Sell fucking burgers. Right? It's got to be a good burger. I'm not going to bother. No different than anything else. They won't acknowledge that weed isn't as good as it could be. And they won't admit how cheap it is to produce. Right?
Yeah, it's true. We know people, and even back in the day, like it was like at its peak, they were like, "Oh, it's like $1 a gram." You're like, "Well, that makes sense," like, but
Yeah, and less, depending. There was a big study done by the RAND Corporation who cited study that Jorge Cervantes actually fucking mounted. And they, 50 cents kind of a fucking pound.
And that's for the good shit.
Any shit. Right?
Yeah, I guess good or bad, it pretty much costs the same.
It's going to cost the same. And it couldn't possibly.
Because it's a bit longer for the good shit.
It couldn't possibly cost much to do it. Now, I appreciate if you're going to build a ground up fucking indoor good sized garden, it's going to cost you some money that you amateurize into the whole affair, raising the price of cannabis compared to cucumbers. But still, this is merely a plant that I'm growing that I do very little to get it to give me what I want. Really, all I have to do is turn a fucking switch on and off every 12 hours. That's the extent of the control I have over all influence I have over this. I make these things go into flower. That's it. The rest of it is a botanical thing that goes on with every other plant. So it wouldn't matter if you're growing tomatoes, right? Or orchids. It's really hard to grow orchids, right? And it takes a tremendous amount of equipment and know-how and conditions to make the orchid actually do what it does, or you would not have an orchid to sell. But orchids aren't the price of cannabis.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like poinsettia, same thing. You got to force flower them before Christmas so they go into flowering. But they're not charging forced flowering prices on like marijuana.
No. The price of cannabis in all of our worlds is just a made up number. It was really what the fucking market would bear is what the black market price has always been. Right? And it was enough. Right? The markup on growing cannabis was so tremendous. Nobody really complained.
They're like, I'm not raising it up any. They're like,
They go, yeah, that's good enough for me.
What? Oh, okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so they're all pretty happy with the price of cannabis all these years. It hasn't fluctuated a great deal over the years, right? Still paying $200 a fucking ounce. I don't know, maybe not that much, but 150.
But still.
150. So, and the licensed producer who should have been able to overcome all of the adversities, I don't know, why did they get to be able to play with this fictitious fucking number? Why did they get to start at the same fucking price and more? Like, who came up with that? Other than some greedy fuck.
Well, it's like you said, the cops have a lot to do with it. So at $10 a gram, they're just doing the math, going like cha-ching. But meanwhile, I have to have really good weed to sell $10 a gram. But they didn't know that.
Why would anybody encourage them to do that in this world? It would seem so very obvious that if your mandate was to get rid of the black market in cannabis, that you would very easily, everybody should know the actual price of production of cannabis. They know these things. They don't talk about it. It's not a subject whatsoever. Right?
Well, all these companies sort of don't, because a million kids that think they know how to grow. So every crop they grow, they ended up paying out like, millions of dollars. So like, it's expensive to grow weed. Well, not really. The way you guys are, yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way. You don't need the CEO of picking my ass while I pick the seeds out before I have someone picking out the pick out thing.
Oh no, it's totally insane. And they're lying too about the actual cost of what they're paying to produce this shit. Right? So they're more than happy to have it at the price that it is. So yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's been crooked as far as I can tell. It's just an invented fucking game that unfortunately people are able to make scads of money doing. And it's a shame that the people who made it had nothing to do with cannabis. Didn't care, couldn't fucking care less about it. Oops. Not what I envisioned around the legalization of cannabis, for fuck's sakes. So I say, bring the fucking weed. You want me to switch over? You want all these people in your fold? They will if you come back with the best fucking weed at the best price. Get in the game. You LPs have chosen to go with the fucking black market price. So here we go. Competition's on. You could have won the
really
competition.
good weed at those black market prices, because that's the only people are buying is good weed on the black market now. There's hardly any really shitty weed out there. Like there is, but if you look at the LP weed compared to shitty weed on the black market, you'd be like, well, it's still mids compared to all that crap, you know? Like,
So, like, that has to be part of the narrative here from the cannabis consumer's point of view is get fucking real. Get me good weed or shut up.
oh, I should clarify too. By mid weed, like mids, this is for the LP people in case they're watching. By mids weeds, I mean like a couple steps above the weed that you guys are selling as recreational weed.
Yeah, it's better than what you have, so you might not have seen what mids are like yet. But, well, and they're mired in well, not mired. There's a few things that limit the potential of actually being able to produce and deliver good marijuana here in this legal system. Even though maybe maybe you're growing fairly good weed in your fucking whatever. But by the time it gets to me, it ain't good anymore. And it's way overpriced. So I don't care. Even if you get really good weed to the fucking marketplace, and I see lots of people posting going, oh no, I got some good stuff from this person or this group or blah blah blah, and you go, okay, well, but you paid way too much for it.
Yeah, that's when they tell me that. I'm like, oh, well, would you buy an ounce of it? And they're like, oh, no, that'd be like $500 or $400. You're like, wow, then that's not really weed you're smoking on. You know, we're buying an ounce a week or an ounce of whatever, and that's like what we're buying. You can't go to legal shop, you'd be broke. Like, fuck.
Yeah. So they're still not broaching that subject in their woes. They still want the police to smash the black market. That was a plan all along because that's what the cops want. That's what Bill Blair wanted when they came to this portfolio, right? They wanted prohibition firmly in place. Nothing has changed around prohibition. It's all still illegal if you don't play by their fucking rules. Their rule used to be cannabis was illegal. Now their rule is cannabis is illegal unless you get it from us. So
Pretty much, yeah.
no
Same
difference.
rules, just different.
We just added that part to it. Those who would choose to ignore that prohibition is still firmly in place get to play.
Those who don't, no go.
You can go by and you can get their weed from them. Right? If you choose to ignore that nothing has changed. That's what I kind of always take an exception to, the people who are involved in it. Right? If you're prepared to ignore that, it's bullshit. So it's going to take years to fucking unravel this shit somehow. But I would like to see the legal industry start fucking yipping about why your weed is shitty. If it's the government's fault, start saying so. Look, we're not able to deliver good weed to these people, even at this price, because you monkeys have got fucking rules in place. Or maybe they don't care, right? They're all just fucking grinding out crappy weed and making millions of dollars.
So like, well, if it's the only weed, they have to buy it, right?
So that's not an incentive. Like, well, stop putting a gram. I've never bought any, but I've certainly seen people getting their weed, and it's a gram of fucking weed in a big giant plastic jar, just bouncing around in there and drying out. Why don't you vacuum seal that gram? You cheap fucks. You know that's what's gonna happen. Sit on the shelf and get shitty. How about vacuum seal that little gram? Still put it inside the jar if you want. You could tape it in there so it doesn't fly around. If you care
get
about
the
the
customer
product.
to put it back in after if they wanted to reuse that jar.
They don't treat other substances like this. They don't make you package it in such a way that it actually destroys the product. Who puts up with that? No, you've got to fucking start moving your tomatoes in the cement mixer.
Bananas and fucking like
Right? You got to keep that
hard
spinning
bag.
around all the time. Bounce those fucking bananas around. For no apparent reason. So I'm not too sure I can blame Health Canada for that, but I can blame the producer for that. Are you fucking insane? Stop fucking wrapping the weed like that. It's ruined your product and diminished your brand. That means giving your name a bad name. That's what happens when your brand is diminished. You have a bad name for providing a shitty product. And that's not even withstanding the exorbitant price. They don't complain about the taxes that have been levied on top of all of this.
Oh, well, it's
No.
crazy too. Like, how much is that? You know, like how much money is the LP guy really making, and how much is the government making? You know, like we know how it is on cigarettes, sort of, and it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, the tax, I don't even know, but they don't deserve a penny of it. Should be no reason why cannabis is taxed.
On a wooden nickel.
Yeah, it's never done anything to hurt anyone. So where's the tax reasoning? I'd like to challenge that sometime. How can you fucking throw a tax on a harmless substance? And why do people accept it so readily? I appreciate that you'll accept tax on other things that, you know, kind of are dangerous. But on a thing that's not, what? And no one says, hey, wait a second, this isn't even dangerous. Why are we being taxed? So I don't see the legal industry fighting for any relief of any of the big problems that exist from this consumer's point of view. So until they do, what can you do? I can't be involved in it because I'm not going to fucking wreck my product so I can grow weed. Fuck that. Doesn't make any sense. From people.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's like.
So all the good growers in Canada are still growing in the black market because the government hasn't shown any reason for them to stop. Not one reason. They didn't. Could have easily come to these people who are growing weed or said to them, look, but nobody trusts the government anymore for a long time. No matter what they say, nobody trusts you. But it would have been nice if they'd said, hey, you know, now that we're going to legalize cannabis, all of the people who are involved in it now, well, if you want to come forward and continue to do it, then we'll kind of forgive all the things you've, right? Maybe you've been paying taxes or, right, living off the grid because you've been growing weed, right? Which they all are. They didn't do that. That would have been very cheap from the taxpayer's point of view compared to the millions that they squandered in their fucking task force,
Oh,
right? They didn't need to do that. They didn't need to go ask grannies what they thought about cannabis being legalized because there's no evidence that it's a problem in the first place. No evidence whatsoever, ever. Even the studies that have been done say there's no evidence it's caused any mayhem anywhere. So it's just glaringly evident to me that it is the way it is now because of this police state that we fucking live in. And these cops have mucked with legalization and fucking ruined it. Health people too. Fuck science. Getting tired of them. Doctors. Fuck off. They don't know as much as they profess to know, folks. See, I got a government that health system, provincial, federal, it's fucked up cannabis so bad. I've lied about cannabis so much my whole life. I don't trust them to do anything. I don't care what's going on. I don't trust them. They've shown to me that they're not trustworthy just with cannabis alone. I know the fucking difference. So I'm not about to go, oh, because of the virus that they are gonna that they know that they're being honest.
they must be being honest. Yeah, they're alive about marijuana
Be
for
honest over this.
years.
Why so honest now? Dr. Bonnie selling booze. So today I see an article about her. What the fuck? I don't know. Warning people not to. That there were so many cases came out of a 30-person party looking somewhere and blah blah blah. Not to be doing this. And in the middle of this article was an ad for fucking booze. Just Dave's liquor store or some fucking thing, right? You go, oh my God, like how telling. So, as always, we'll see. So I don't know. That's all I got. Oh no, I got more. Listen to this.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. But status quo is a hard thing to unquo, I guess. I still don't like going out in the world.
No, it's slowed down a lot. You gotta wait on a lot of lineups. They don't like cash still very much.
Which is fucked. Fuck off. Don't take cash.
Yeah, take that paper.
I read the World Health Organization recommending that people continue to take cash, that it was not a fucking danger.
Too slippery.
Read lots of things the World Health Organization said that everybody ignored. You just pick and choose what they want to do. Influenced by the cops, I guess. So, on it goes. Continue to be good to one another. and to everyone. That's the way it should be. And many of these problems will go away if we're all good to one another, have respect, care.
Be as nice as you want to be to yourself, to others.
It's not simple yet. There's a lot more to it than that. I give it. So anyway, I'm going to take off. Good to see you, Mr. Cookie.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me by.
Anytime. Thanks for that nice little roll of cannabis. Thanks to Anil for slamming the zooming it together, and broadcasting. Do check in on the different shows here almost daily on Pot TV. And thanks for Rose for being here. She's here for a bit. And good of you all to tune in. And I'll see comments somewhere in the chat. Don't see the chat here with this Zoom configuration, but thanks for doing that too. And until we see you next time, I'm Marijuana Man. Peace and pot.
All right, welcome to the THC show with Neil, where we talk about the unpleasant truths of our system and our democracy here.
I help patients. I know what you're saying. I got rated for growing, and I'm staring at the cracks in the wall doing time, and I'm trying to figure out who I hurt. No victim, no crime.
And we look for avenues of hope and ways that we can change some things. As you can see, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of care packs that we're handing out there. I am not a criminal.
Wow, look at this.
Right,
Hey,
here we
I got
go.
420 for sure now. Got you.
And I'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of THC, Truth, Hope, and Change. Go about changing the world as best you can, and while you're doing it, just have as much fun as you can. Thank you.
Hi there, welcome to the 420 Lifestyle Show. I'm Carly Marley. She's taking a dab. Thanks.
We can play the Sick Moose video.
Oh yes, Sick and Moose video.
Just pass it to me.
Let's play the Sick and Moose video.